This is Boxing Tickets NI, and we're joined with Stephen Webb. How are you, Stephen?
Yeah, no, mate. Just enjoying the sun. Well, not at the minute. Stuck in the kitchen here, just talking to you.
As I was sort of saying before we started, obviously that warm weather just once day. Obviously, I know today's St. Patrick's Day as well. So normally this time of the day, you probably obviously away at a festival or a party or something like that, and maybe a few cold drinks along the line. But obviously with lockdown and stuff as well, we're sort of having to behave a wee bit more than we normally would.
I just looked at the timer and just said that if this wasn't happening, you'd have to be sitting at a wee barbecue, a few beers and people around, like, but so what can you do, man?
Exactly. It's changed times, and like funny, obviously in my normal day-to-day job, I sort of say to a lot of customers that we can sort of put things like this in their CV to say we sort of survived the pandemic and things, and I guess obviously in some ways it might help us grow stronger for the future. Like when the lockdown first happened, people were having to jump the queues and Tesco's to get toilet roll and beans. So it's sort of changed life for a lot of people in certain ways. Obviously with yourself with lockdown, you guys are going to become a father. Congratulations to you. I guess it's a wee bit belated in a way, but looking forward to obviously bringing your baby girl into the world.
Aye, yeah. It's exciting, like, to be fair. Just once we found out, like, it's fluent. Like, we were sitting talking about it a couple of nights ago, and we were like, it feels like we told our parents about 3 days ago, but we actually told them like 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's fluent, like, to be fair. Obviously we had a bit of a gender reveal party last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Found out it was a girl and stuff, and it made it all feel more real, like. So it's exciting, like. But
and when's it due then?
August, start of August, 11th of August.
Definitely. It's sort of, as I say, sometimes when you have a child, it sort of makes you grow up and obviously think rather than yourself and going, I need to feed the wee one, or
I remember about 2 or 3 days before me and her actually found out. I was in training, and Sean, my colleague, said to me something like, have you got kids? And I was like, no. He says, once you have kids, they'll give you a wee bit of a boost, and like that you feel like you have more to fight for and this and that, and it might bring your performances up and stuff. And I was kind of looking at him going like, you listening to me through my phone or something? Like, what the fuck's going on here? I only found out 2 or 3 days ago in my head I was saying this, as if he didn't have a clue. But a lot of people seem to say that there, really. Like, I've seen a lot of Clark Frampton say, like, when he's in the ring, he thinks about his family and stuff, and like keeps pushing him more and stuff, like. But just that day when he said that, me, was like going, what the fuck's going on here?
Yep. We sort of seen it in two sort of spectrums. Obviously, with Carl obviously in his fights, and obviously with Sean McCombs fight with Gavin Gwynn, last month. He's sort of got to the stage and going, I'd love to just stand here and have a tear up, but it's not just about me anymore. I've got a young kid and things, and it gives you that sort of extra focus sometimes to go, what am I doing this for? What am I standing here on the slugfest for? When I've got a young kid to go home and see, and obviously them seeing cuts and bruises and everything else, he just thought, you know what, I'll have to fight another day. And fair play to him, and in some ways, obviously, people would slate it in a way, but he's actually looked out for himself and went, I'm going to look out for my wee one, and obviously give them good memories of growing up rather than daddy get cuts and bruises everywhere, But definitely, obviously, August, it's giving you something to obviously look forward to, obviously getting out of lockdown and stuff as well, but obviously another mouth to feed, and gives you a bit more hunger, obviously, in boxing as well. So sort of rolling back a bit for you, Stephen, when did you first decide did you wanted to get into boxing, and why?
A memory came up on Facebook the other day. There's this page around about Belfast, sharing stuff from over the years, still back from the years and stuff, and something popped up from St. John's Boxing Club. It was like a youth club, but for a period of time it became a boxing club. And I think I was about 9, around about P6, so about 9-ish, and used to go out trading each day. And we actually had, like, if that club had stayed open, that would have been very, very good. Like, at the time, you had Rory Dalton and Dee Walsh boxing out of it. Myself, a few other people from about the area as well who would have probably stuck with boxing more. It was closer. So about then, I remember I was training there for a few weeks, obviously. I was going to school one day, primary school, obviously, down up at school, and someone said to me, it was Friday, and someone said to me, I heard you were fighting tomorrow in a clip show. I was like, well, I'm only 9, I'm not fighting, like, that doesn't happen. No, you are not. So I went to school and all, going all day, I come out to go train, mate, I'm fighting tomorrow. And we went training that night, and they were like, oh, there's a bit of a club show being run down at Crunk Boxing Club. I was like, oh, Jesus, brilliant, and all this here. So we all went down, I think it was about 6 or 7, went down and fought that day. Obviously, it was an exhibition. That was like the first real like, sort of experience with it. But that boxing club ended up closing down, and once it closed down, I sort of stopped boxing. I was like, look, none of my parents drove at the time or anything. I was like, look, this year was up the street, so it was easy for me to get to. So I stopped boxing until I was about 14. I went to St Albert Plumpet Boxing Club with Paddy McAllister, Big Time McCarthy, and Troy McCann over there and stuff. I went there, boxed there for a year. Obviously came through fighting in novices and stuff. Fought in the other novices. Obviously won them, fought in the Adams, won them. Didn't go to the All-Irelands that year because only had like 4 fights. Of like, I think it was Paddy had near that, went down to All-Irelands with 4 fights at the age of 14. You'll be battered. So I was like, right, so it didn't matter. And then I had the Ulster novices and won them. And so it was like 7 fights at one. And the Ulsters were a few weeks later. And I remember Paddy McAllister sitting me down and was like, look, I don't want you to enter the Ulsters. I want you to wait till the Adams in the next few months. And I was going, I want to enter the Ulsters. I'm like, it's stupid me entering the Adams. Like, the Ulsters are here, let me enter them and then go to the Adams. Well, we'll think about it now. And about a week before, he was like, look, I've made the decision, I don't want you to enter, whatever. But I kind of had in my head that, because I was the only boxer around that age entering at the club, I was like, kind of going, maybe he doesn't want to enter, just won't fight or not. But then when I thought about it, I was going, like, when I was at school, all people were going, oh, the Ulsters are speaking all you entering. I was going, aye, I'm entering, aye. But really, I wasn't. And I remember going home and saying to my daddy and stuff, look, Patsy isn't entering the Ulsters. Like, I want to enter, I'm leaving. You're not leaving or all, whatever. I was like, no, I want to go to Holy Trinity. Like, I know people who box Holy Trinity, I want to go there.
Yeah.
And I remember always sliding and joking with D. Ross like years ago about Albert Plumpet and Holy Trinity and stuff and all this here. I knew that he was there, I knew Rory was there, I knew a few boys from school were there and stuff. So I got up, I think it was the Monday. The weigh-in for the Ulsters was the Saturday, and it was the Monday. I went to school, came back to the title, I'm going to Holy Trinity, whether you like it or not. You can't do that there on Patsy, whatever. And I was like, I'm doing it. He says, look, listen, me and Jim done the same thing. We boxed Albert Plumpet first and left and went to Holy Trinity, and it was all a big kick off and round about it. And we just get over all that, but we're not going to do that again. I said, look, I'm leaving. I went to enter the Ulsters. So I went to Holy Trinity that week. I was only about 14, 15 maybe. Mickey Hawkins says to me on the Monday night, or he wasn't there on the Monday, sorry. It was the Tuesday night. He says to me, well, was Patsy entering the Ulsters? Me. I was like, aye. I was entering. He says, so, right, so we have a team going down, you going down? And I was like, oh, yes. So the first night I remember being there, he threw me in the spar. I was sparring Kevin Haynes and he found Neil McCurtain at the time. He found Neil was actually very good. He won the All-Irelands. He beat Guy Cully in the All-Irelands one year. And I was like, in sparring him, and he came out and said, right, through a Saturday on, make sure your weight's and all, whatever. I was like, right, went down, went in the Ulsters, won the Ulsters that year, won the Anthems and went down to the All-Irelands and all. I was like, one of the people like, that's the best thing I've done, move club and all, really. So it was maybe around about 14 that I really kicked back into it. And I kind of done the same as my daddy done, like really, and my uncle boxed for Albert Plumpet for a year. Well, they boxed there for a few years, then went to Holy Trinity, so it was around about the same thing. But even at that age, everyone always spoke about Mickey Hawkins and stuff, about how good of a coach he was and all. I always wanted to be involved in that, so kind of kicked off from there, really. So, by 14.
Sometimes you sort of hear, people's stories, like I remember Tommy McCarthy saying that, reading something I would say about somebody seeing Tommy out running, they go, here, do you want to go boxing? And other people's done it because brothers and things like that. But, I know obviously you and your own family, your own uncle, Jim, I think it was a Commonwealth Games gold medalist in Canada in 1994. So there's boxing in the family there. So seems to be in certain areas sometimes. If you know, probably even more so now. It's not just if you're a young guy. It's you're a young guy or a young girl. You go boxing. You know, it's just part of the family. You know, it's like you're going to be a boxer whether you like it or not. You know, it's always good.
Like,
it's always good to hear that in a way.
Where I came from, St James, obviously like the whole area was like kind of boxing. Like I lived like here, just say, and then Paddy McCrory lived maybe like 6 doors up. Rory lived right down the bottom of the street, and Dave Ross lived around the corner. So like it was all just everyone constantly talking about boxing and stuff and football, and really like so. I kind of give it a wee kick again, talk more as well.
Mm-hmm. It definitely does, and I say it's strange sometimes, and how people can get involved in boxing and stuff as well. You know, and the story that gets them involved. When obviously you're coming up through the ranks in boxing, was there anybody in particular in the sport that you sort of looked up to as like a role model and was like, I want to be like them?
Whenever I first started boxing, it was obviously always my daddy and one stuff I always looked up to. Really, obviously that's just a given, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I first started boxing for Albert Plunkett, I kind of, because I was a southpaw, I always looked up to Tro McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
I really like kind of going, he bossed his hands down and all blah blah. I love this here. Like, so I always tried to copy him.
Yeah.
And then when I left Albert Plunkett to Manchester Trinity, you're obviously always trying to sort of copy Sean Coleman, even Mark O'Hara. There was a wee article done about Mark the other day.
Mm-hmm.
They were always the two that you looked up to in Holy Trinity at the time, especially Mark. Mark had a lot of time for like boxers younger than him and around about the same weight and stuff. For sparring, he was brought in for sparring. And obviously, at the time, just took you around and taught you things and told you what you were doing wrong. So like Mark and Sean at the time, like I always met our time, everyone used to slay keeping hands, but he used to always try and box like Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And like I kind of like always tried to like do what Sean done. Like I remember the time Sean used to box like this, he had to leave hand, he used to constantly go mad. And then I went through the phase of doing that as well. And just I think the two amateur clubs at box where you always had like elite amateurs there to look up to right away. So yep. I would say the 3 names I mentioned were always the ones you kind of looked at. Like.
I guess it's like the same in any sport. You know, you obviously play football and stuff yourself. You know, when you're running about the garden with football, you were shouting a player's name as you're about to put the ball in the net. You know, you always want to emulate somebody, want to copy them and see how they do things to see if it's any different to how you do it. You know, and I guess that's what's great about the art of boxing. There's so many different styles and different ways, and it's sometimes trying to implement them yourself.
Just on a new roasting
there. So obviously, then boxing under Holy Trinity. I think you were there for a couple of years. What you obviously had I think you had a foot injury. Was it? I believe.
I'd fought in the Ireland under 18s in May. Whatever year it was, around about 2011, maybe. Let's say,
mm-hmm.
maybe just after it. 2013 maybe, I can't remember. But I fought the Ireland under 18s that year. My first fight I drew a fellow called Jack Conlan from Clonmel. Him, Colin Sheehan and Sean McComb were always on the amateur team together, and I drew them. They were tripping on. They were ranting and raving, having a slag about it apparently. But I remember drawing them, and Billy McLean, who was the sort of under 18 Irish high performance coach at the time, loved Jack Conlan. He had won 5 Irish titles. He thought he was this and he thought he was that. And once I drew him, Mickey Hawkins wasn't down yet. He was working on his way down to Dublin. And I drew him to fight him that night. And he was kind of like, oh, you make it on the Michael right now, you're fighting Conlan. You're not going to do too well there. And I was kind of going, I'll beat him, just the way I've always been. Don't worry about that. But in my head, I was going, shit, I'm fighting Jack Conlan here. You know what I mean? And anyway, but he was down, came down. Not twice out of it. Mickey came down, he was down anyway. Fought Jack Conlan. Mickey was like, send me this wee lad, he's just all jabs. All he wants to do is jabs. He says he threw his first jab. Just pivot off your right hook, just check out him constantly. I think I'd done that the whole fight. I think I threw about 300 right hooks, just constantly turning them, the odd time falling up with the left hand. And I ended up beating him sort of, it was points more at the time. I think I beat him 26 or something like that. So then I had 14 points. Then after that, I had a real buzz and all. I was going, right, happy days, hang on, definitely going to win this. Next fight I fought a fella from Clanifa, wee real bull coming forward, just constant. I was going, I have no work cut out here. So I fought him anyway, and I could beat him 17-15 or something. It was a close fight. I think after the fight, I'm blown all over each other. Next fight in the quarterfinal, I fought someone as well, beat him 3 levels. But I was fighting as well, Michael McDonough in the semi-final. But one I didn't know who he was at the time. He was just real quality operator, like counter puncher. Boxes with the left hand really low, just counters you flat every time he threw. So I remember fighting him in the semi-final, and I remember when he got in the ring, I looked, his arms are massive. I was going, that's constantly 17 months, says his arms. And I knew his face. All my fights, he'd be sitting ringside watching, so he knew what I was doing. And I was going, fuck, he's been watching all my fights. Like, he must have, like, kind of knew what me at some stage. And so we went out, and like, says, don't throw the he throws. Always faint as soon as he throws counter. Those playing with his own game.
Yeah.
So it was a wee bit of an experience on my behalf. I went out, and both of us like saying, fainting, flat out. And the referee at the time called a stop. Was like, he was like, you need the box. You need to throw punches. So I was going, shit. So as soon as he said that, I leaned down for the big left hand. He just went slip, boom, caught me a big right hand. So I was a point down. The rest of the fight was just constantly, both of us just feeling each other out, faint. Once he threw, I was trying to catch him face first. And I remember it was a point down after the first round, point down after the second round. My arms was like next round. The first 2 minutes, so it was just trying, don't go more than a point down here, try and stay in the fight. The last minute, if you need to, pick it up. So I did, right? And then in my head, the last minute, he came at me and I slipped in the column with left hand. I was like, I think that's a fight level. So then both of us were being cagey as fuck, and I backed him up in the corner. And I heard the clapper go for 10 seconds. I threw a double left hand, called him 2 crackers. He called me one, and I called him. And I was going, Safi, I've won this fight now. So I got back, and there was a fella he fought in the final. I was going, I'll beat him anyway. And get back, and they called it score. He ended up beating me by points though. So I cracked up, and Mickey Holmes was like, what's going on with all this here? So then it was that earlier, Mickey was showing me that. Listen, he says, big year and all next year. Obviously, end of the season, big year next year and all. Enjoy a bit of your summer, but don't go too mad. Says, I really think you're going to go far now. Like, you show what you can do. And I was like, right, okay, I need all this here. But I went to Magaluf in August or July that year. And first holiday away without my parents, not 18. First day away, everything was brilliant. Second day, I think Celtic were playing in a Champions League qualifier. So we went into Santa Ponsa, we Irish town, a few drinks, watched the football all day, back in the Magaluf that night. I get steaming. I was wearing a pair of shorts, couldn't find my top, couldn't find my shoes, nothing. I was stumbling up to the hotel. Next minute, I remember waking up the next morning, opening my eyes, and I'm in a hospital bed. I was like, what the fuck's happened? So the night before, I was walking down the road and stood on a glass bottle of vodka. I went straight through my foot, done the 10 minutes on the bottom of my foot, and I was on crutches for about 3 months, maybe 4 months. Couldn't walk without them. And then I kind of sat me right back, like I was always I feel about my foot, like having it up under my foot and all for a while. I was going to physio for it. And everything I was doing, every time my foot was getting sore, I was going, oh fuck, no, I'm not doing this. So like a big massive foot injury, like I wouldn't say it done me out of 3 or 4 months, I'd say about 3 years. Like I didn't have confidence in that foot for 3 years at all. Constant pains, and every time I was getting a pain on it, I was imagining something just snapping in my foot again. So I was just on such a high to finish that season, and then when the season sort of ended, I went on a bit of a holiday, and then this happened. So it was a big setback. Like.
And obviously, just with it, because obviously in your feet you have a lot of your support and things like that. So when you were scared to sort of put your foot down, sort of flat, sometimes then you go, I can't fight in the same way I want to before, and miss a lot of your head and stuff as well. Was it sort of just with things not going back to normal and that you just decided that now was the time to go pro?
I think I had one fight after again. I had another fight, but the brother of these here at this tournament, and the Anthem Seniors or something they called them for the older seniors. They had the Anthem Seniors for 2 years. Sean McComb won the year before at 60 kilo, and I entered the year after because Sean wasn't out there. I fought some fella from Monkstown, I think it was, and I beat him. But I won them that year, but I remember before the fight, I was sparring around my boxing boots and all, obviously, but at times, like, I was wearing gullies last night, wearing gully shit. I remember warming up with my boots on, my foot felt like it was all numb. Before the fight, I was going, I can't do this anymore. And I ended up winning the fight, but I just remember even during that fight, I was going, my foot, like, Jesus Christ. So I walked away from boxing for about 18 months, I think. And was like, I don't want to do this anymore. My foot's just not up to it, like. And then I kicked off playing football again. And I had the confidence in the foot after about a year and a half playing football. I was like, if I play football with foot, like, it's an empty box. So that's kind of when I started to train a wee bit more again, and it kind of led me back to the sport.
And obviously then the initial obviously turning over, you signed with Kieran Farrell, and you're over in Manchester and you got the spar with Anthony Crolla. What sort of memories can you think back on that? And obviously, I know Anthony's now retired, but obviously it must have been special at the time, and you just signed pro and you're going sparring Anthony Crolla. It's something you can obviously tell your wee girl when she started growing up that you were sparring Anthony Crolla.
I had a good relationship with Kieran beforehand. I was originally meant to sign with Kieran Farrell a couple of months beforehand, maybe a year before. Round about anyway, but I was meant to sign with him. I was up training with D. Walsh and Ray Guinea and stuff. It was around about the time Potty signed with him and Sean Higginson. I was up training with him then. I was meant to turn pro, but I didn't turn up for training the last week. I was like, whatever, I don't want to do it, so I didn't go training. And then the day Kieran was coming over, I was texting him like, do you want me to come up and sign now? And he didn't reply to me. And I was like, oh fuck, I blew it and all this year. Then he messaged me like later that night, like, look, I spoke to D and Ryan on, says he hadn't been training. So the deal was you had to train for me to come over, watch the spar and stuff and whatever. So no. And I was like, for fuck's sake. So I threw the head up again and was like, do you know what? Fuck this, I'm not boxing anymore, like whatever. And then I started training again, and I always stayed in contact with Kieran. And Kieran said to me, look, listen, I'm not coming back over to Belfast for a good time. He says, if you want the option, you can come out here. You can stay, I have a wee room above my gym. You can come out and you can stay up there for a week. We'll take you sparring and see what happens and stuff. So I went over there and trained. I'm over by myself, obviously. Stayed by myself for a week, just up in a wee room. But it was a decent enough room, to be fair. You had a double bed, you had a TV, you had an Xbox for me over there. And then it was like a wee sofa. And stayed there for a week. Obviously, on the second day, he was like, right, I spoke with Joe Gallagher. You're going to go down and spar Scott Cardle. He was fighting a week later for the British title against Lewis Ritson.
Yeah.
Like, right straight, I remember lying in bed the night before. Saying, fuck, because like one of my first spars as a pro and all. I was watching videos of Scott Cardle all night the night before on YouTube. Get down to the gym, and he was like, Scott not sparring. I was like, fuck shit, you guys buzzing for us now. And he goes, if you want to get spar, Ant. I was going, fuck's Ant? Especially Anthony Crolla walking in the door and get changed and all. I still never clicked on. And he was over talking to me. They're friendly, really, really friendly along the chain room, Tommy. And I walked out, and it was like, right, just Anthony Crolla. And I was like all like my years watching boxing, like watching Crolla and Dime Alfie fight, I always loved Anthony Crolla. Like he was my favourite boxer at the time. And I was going like, Jesus, like, fuck, what's happening here? I was starstruck.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and just the build of him was ridiculous. Like his back is like literally a V. His back was huge, and he was a good neck and all. And I was going, fuck, I'm gonna bother here. I was like, but yeah, do you know what? Who gets a chance to spar like someone that looked up to him and all this like this? I was like, right, sweet. So Joe was like, right, who's Anthony sparring again? The Kieran, and Kieran was like, oh, the Irish kid. And Anthony's going, an Irish kid? And he goes, am I sparring you? And I was like, he goes, oh, these Irish ones are always good. And I was kind of going, fuck, he's not going to take it easy with me here after hearing I'm Irish. Like, he's going to single with me here. I remember working out that I'd done 5 or 6 rounds, and I can't remember what it was. I remember getting the first round, and I just tried to be awkward. I just boxed like an amateur still, like trying to be like everywhere, like so he couldn't do anything. They don't get me the first round. I stayed with him, constantly looking out of the way. But then he obviously went back to the corner after that round. It was like, he knew what to do next. So if second round was a bit close, like he was wearing me down, but I was still able to stay away from him. I see if that third, fourth, and fifth round, I think I just stood like that, just can't see throwing out or anything. I was going, I can't stay away from him. His back was huge. Every time he hit me, it was like I'd have a breeze blocks.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest punches ever hit me in my life. I mean, it was real sore. Like every single punch was hitting me. You were like going, fuck. You felt you were bruising up every punch you hit me. And I was getting it after, and he was going to me like, he obviously gave me a bit of advice saying, like, if you're turning pro, you can't box the way you box the first 2 rounds. Like, you can't be on your toes as much, blah, blah, unless you have really, really, really strong legs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd give me a bit of advice and whatever, and all this here. I went back the next day and sparred him. And again, it was alright. And me and Kieran had a chat and stuff. Started doing a bit more work with Kieran over, obviously. The day he was coming home, Kieran like, sort of said, look, I want to sign you, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. He says, but I was originally going to base in Manchester. I was going to move out to Manchester and stay in a place above Kieran's gym, train with Kieran and fight in Manchester. Mm-hmm. And he was having a show in July. I think I turned with him in April. He was having a show in July. He wanted me to get a British license and stuff, which obviously was going to take a bit more time than an Irish one.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? Show in July came up and around about June time. He said to me, look, listen, I'm not going to put you on the July show. There's too much local lads looking up, whatever. So I can't really give you, put you on it for basically nothing. Whenever they wanted stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, dead on, whatever. And then there was another show wasn't on as well. We never had a forward or anything. Me and he was spoke to him and stuff. He was like, if you want to move on closer to Ireland, you just can and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we both just decided to move on, see what we can do. And that was it. Just we couldn't get a secure date out in Manchester, and he wasn't having shows here. I was like, I want to be active. So again, that's when it just came across, you know what, let's scrap it.
Just not going to work out. And sort of, you know, I guess sometimes, you know, everybody's story is not all plain sailing. So sometimes in the sport, you know, you had your foot injury and stuff like that. Always the initial turning pro and then sort of not happening. You obviously waited about a bit to get your debut. Obviously yourself and Dee went down to Dublin, fight to everything else, happy days as if the fight's happening. For obviously it called through, but even before that, tell us how it came. I actually came across this story the other day and it actually amused me. Tell us how it is you got your BUA license.
Say again?
Your BUA license. You actually had to spar Joe Fitzpatrick to get your license.
Aye, so I was training with Dee for a brave while, obviously, and I was like, we're going to get an Irish license, blah, blah, whatever, but we fought enough, we're sparring away, we were sparring like Halo and sparring on the Upton for the True Mechanic fight and stuff. Everything was working out brilliant, and I was going to get my license, and next minute I got a phone call and was like, we need to see you spar before we give you a license. And I was like, what? And I was like, the only time we give someone a license now without watching spars, I think they're sort of an elite commentator.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, okay. Like, because I thought nothing of it and was like, right, whatever. And they rung me and was like, when's your next spar? And I was like, I'm sparring Joe Fitzpatrick here to say Thursday. And they were like, right, okay, we'll come to that. So I thought nothing of it. Didn't even tell Dee. Jumped in the car, went down the spar, and Dee was like, what about your license? And I was like, I think Paul McCullough's coming out here to watch a spar to see if he can grant me a license or not. Dee was like, what? I was like, what the fuck are you sparring Joe Fitzpatrick for your license? She said, because spar's on Egypt. I was going, fuck it, it's happening. I'll spar.
Yeah.
So down, Paul McCullough walked him down, and I think it was Francie McCullough as well. He was down and talking to Emma and stuff, and talking to Joe, whatever. And I think Joe was only back training about 5 or 6 weeks at the time. And we organised sparring and went out and done 4, maybe 5 rounds. And I actually boxed very well. Like, I think Joe will tell you this himself. Like, I boxed. Like, I thought I boxed him at the boxing man would spar. And it was about 10 minutes later, his mummy says, oh, you've got the license, you'll be able to fight whenever you want to fight now. And I was like, right, let's get on. And then my dad like always took interest in boxing. He texted Paul McCoy, he was like, well, how that spar go? And Paul's words were like, you all need to know who was to come off the silver medalist in there. Because he actually boxed that well. So I was like, fuck, brilliant. So I'm back down spar Joe before or after again, all good sparring all again. And so I was kind of like where the license came from and where the sparring and all the Joe came from as well. Like.
So, it's always, you know, I've never sort of heard of it before where you sort of had the spar for them to get the license, but I guess sometimes
I was before I was bouncing fit back in as well. Like I was training twice, sometimes 3 times a day. Just time pro, I had it in my head. I need to train hard. I need to do everything flat out. And I was like boxing in the morning, going doing a flying conditioning exercise in the afternoon. Sometimes for myself, I'm going to do a run minute. That's I'm going to do sprints and all. I was constantly training. I had D. Walsh training. I had Joe Keenan, the strength conditioning coach at the time. And like, I was bouncing fit. And everyone was like, I had the best engine like you've ever seen. But I don't think I've ever trained like that again since. Like constantly. I think I trained for about 20 weeks, I would say. Flat out, fit as I've ever been, flying, strong as I've ever felt.
And is it just sometimes then that you would probably?
Go ahead.
Is it just sometimes sort of then that you would maybe say, because of obviously things and stuff that's happened in, you know, fights and stuff not happening, things like that, is it getting the motivation back sometimes to go, right, to give yourself a motivation?
I don't know. I think because at the time I just turned pro and everyone was like, do you know what? It's professional boxing. You need to be training flat out. You need to be doing this. And I loved sort of. I was in love with training basically. I was getting up in the morning, couldn't wait to go training. I was training at 7 in the morning. I was training again at 1. I was doing a run that night. Constantly loving it. Like, was eating clean, flat out. Like I mean, like it wasn't been a day where I had a botch of it. And that's for about, I'd say a good 4 or 5 months, like easy. When I just turned pro, like always, like the weather always do when I was training. All my mates were going out for a carry out and all, and they sit in the sun having a drink. And I actually sit in the front garden drinking a slice puppy. Like having the odd slice puppy, sitting in the garden having a slice puppy, or sitting in the garden drinking a bottle of water, making sure I was drinking maybe 3 litres of water a day. Had meal plans and all, constantly eating man. Just everything was just there, like working perfect for me. I just think I haven't had that sort of buzz back again.
Yeah.
To make me feel like that again. But the other day I was down in bed, I was just sitting talking to her, and I was like going, you know what, I kind of need this buzz back. I need to sort of get back and go, you know what, for 26, give it 4 good hard years and see what you can do.
Yep.
Rather than just fucking get there and go, oh, I have no fight date, I'm not training. As soon as you get a fight date, I'll train. Oh, COVID's on, I'm not really fighting in fucking September, like something like that in my head. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was boys going to Luxembourg to fight. And this weekend, obviously, I was off at pool. So I was, Leonard Gunning thing with me and was like, do you want to fight, blah, blah. I was like, yes, I will. And then I said, get back to me about numbers, like kind of money ways. And then I was like, well, I don't want to pay tax and I need to fight the show here, blah, blah. Not the minute with COVID and all, don't have it, whatever. And I was like, right, but even at that fair play with Dennis Morgan, the one side there, I kind of said that. Dennis around me and was like, do you want a job? And I was like, what? He was like, do you want a job doing delivery chef for pizza guys? And I was like, fuck all. He says, look, I know you were kind of struggling there, blah, blah. He says, do you want a job doing this here? And I was like, going, I'm not struggling, like, but I could do it with extra income, like. And he was like, well, come on, you can do deliveries. And so he got me a start there, like, so I mean, like, so it was just that really stupid. I have a Dennis, so he kicked me off mat. So with them as around, kind of helping you that way as well. Like, you wouldn't really get much promoters or managers really trying to get you jobs as well.
Yeah,
whereas he did.
Keeping the straight and narrow. So he's always looking out to sort of get you obviously back into the ring and get you fighting. You finally obviously made your debut December 2018 on the MTK show in the Titanic Exhibition Centre. What can you remember, obviously, about your debut? You know, it's probably just over 2 years ago now. So, obviously, was it relief then to know that you actually finally made your debut?
It was 7th of December, I think. Like you said, it's the Titanic Exhibition Centre. I was training, obviously, at the time for it. Was buzzing, bouncing fit as usual at the time. And I remember training away and spoke to Jamie Conlan and stuff. And he was like, look, listen, you can fight on this show. You've had a few letdowns, whatever. And I was like, happy days, big show, blah, blah. I think at the time, Lewis Crocker and Sean McCulloch were meant to fight on as well. You'd already had Conrad Cummings and Sean McComb, Paddy Gall fighting on. I was like, you know what, brilliant, can't wait. I had such a buzz about it and all. Like, I was sparring flat out with Paddy and all at the time because I was training with Paddy. Going down to Dublin with Sport Jay Byrne and all down there as well. And just everything was just brilliant. Like, the whole experience of it was class. And I remember beforehand, Jamie Conlan says to me, look, listen, do you want to fight in a 6-rounder in your debut? And I was like, fuck that. He says, I could spar 6 rounds, no problem, but your debut, the adrenaline and all, I was like, no way. Not a chance. And end up only sparring, or only fighting, was it 4 rounds? And remember after 4 rounds up, I was like, fuck me, I could do over 4 rounds here. So I was fuming, like, but he was a tough operator, fella fought. Like, I know he's a journeyman and stuff and whatever, but like, I remember he was a hard puncher. I remember his one he had came by and knocked out. I remember first round, boxed the head of him. Towards the end of the 3rd round, I kind of went close to him, put my hands up, and he caught me a big right hook, and I caught it on the glove. I remember coming through and still hit me, and I was going, fuck me, I have to punch. So I just outboxed him the whole fight. Like, I think of a 10-8 round as well. I think I beat him 40-35 or something.
Yeah, 40-35. I think I finished up. So obviously now, now you were a pro. It was sort of going happy days. I actually now feel like a pro rather than doing all the training, having cancelled fight and stuff like that. It was obviously there's now the relief they said you actually were a pro boxer because you'd had a fight. You couldn't tell people you're a pro boxer and go, oh, what's your record? I haven't fought yet. So you're not really a pro boxer. You could have taken things obviously different, but your second pro fight, Belfast Derby with Joe Fitzpatrick. Obviously, in the build-up sort of to it, it sort of seemed like a sort of grudge match. Was it sort of more to sort of sell the fight? And I know obviously you and Joe are very close now, but how hard was it? I know obviously there's always the rivalry between St James's and Davis and things like that, but how was obviously the sort of build-up and things to the fight for that?
Well, I remember you saying there, he just says there, your second fight you didn't have to, blah blah, you fought your body, but realistically I did have to. I feel if I didn't fight Joe then, I possibly wouldn't have fought again. Reason being, you were going to ask me a question about the show in Dublin with D. Walsh.
Yeah.
I heard you say something about, what was it, your license or something taken from through in time. That's bullshit. I've never ever said this in an interview. Never maybe told people who's not close to me, but we get down to Dublin. I went down before D. D was a barber at the time. Had to do a bit of work. I went in Belfast. I didn't have to go down to Dublin the way in. I went in Belfast the day before. And I was with Assassin, obviously, and Assassin would like, look, bring the money for your opponent when you come down and stuff. You sold blah blah amount of tickets, but I think I sold maybe £1,100 for tickets, and the opponent was £1,400, and that was the show cost and all. And I was like, right, whatever. But I get down and I was like going, oh, I said I transferred the money to you, and you felt because I'm just going, what? I said I transferred you my ticket money, and he goes, did you? She says, oh, I checked his account. No, you didn't. I said, I did. Sure, it'll be in after the fight. No, don't worry about it. And he was like, no, I can't let you fight until it comes to you. And I was like, fuck, right, whatever. So I ended up, it didn't go free, obviously, and he was like, look, you can't fight. So he pulled me off the show and he said, look, we'll just tell people you had a problem with your license. It didn't come through until the day, blah, blah. So I was like, right, no worries. And I remember fucking D-Boss came down, he was about to go in, and I said, D, I'm not fighting, I'm listening to. So D wanted to go in, and he was finding out. I was going, no, it's a sort, we'll go, and all. But I'd about 35 of my mates coming down to watch it on a bus. Did the renting out and stuff, and they were staying overnight. And I was like, oh, do you know what? Fucking no, whatever, come on, we go before everyone dies. So I touch them and says, I fights off, whatever. And they're all, fuck, why is it off and all? I says, I have a license thing through. And they were like, fuck, wait, whatever. I was like, look, I'll sort of take money and all next week and all, don't worry about it, blah, blah, whatever. And at the time, I had nothing. I mean, I was in Ghent, and I was going, fuck's sake, whatever. What do I do, and all, blah, blah. And the whole way up home now, I was in penalty. I had my license, big little balls and all this here, and then Dave's going, assassin, they're fucking dicks and all, fucking not letting you fight and all, because yeah, blah, blah. They should have had that sorted, and I was going, no, fuck's sake, dicks and all. So it's the kind of reason me and Dee don't train together anymore. Dee obviously fell out with me and stuff. It came out, I just turned around and says, look, listen, I did end up telling the truth. About 2 weeks later, I goes, maybe. My mates were like, fuck, I still thought maybe didn't fight and all, whatever. And I was like, no, fuck, whatever. They're still all thought that you didn't have a license. But they ended up telling them all the truth. I was like, you know what, lads? It was D actually said before. I said, I think it was D, I can't remember who it was anyway. I was like, you know what, I have my license. And they were like, what? I was like, I spoke to £1,100 bookies. I said, I take money in the bookies. That's why I didn't fight. I told them I transferred it and all, blah, blah, whatever. And they're all like, what? And I was like, that's what happened. So still to this day, some people think, oh, he didn't have his license, whatever. So I kind of broke off him for play the assassin at the time. They were like, do you know what? We'll keep it that story for you, blah, blah. But obviously stuff good and some people found it and stuff, whatever. And then I fought in the MTK show. They were going to send me after, but I only sold £800 worth of tickets, giving him £300 for the show. Didn't sell enough tickets. Like, look, listen, we don't want you anymore. You can't sell tickets, blah, blah. And I was like, right, so whatever. So I didn't sell tickets as well because people were going, fuck, what if you sell, we get tickets off him, he don't fight again.
Yeah.
And I was going, right, fair play. And also, I basically just had family coming to watch me. Fought in that, and then speaking of Leonard Gunning, Leonard Gunning was like you're dead, man, in boxing. Like, nobody wants to be involved with you. Like, I'm giving you a lifeline all here. Like, do you want the same with me? And I was like, look, it's not the same with you because it's me on the absent and all, like, whatever. So the same with Leonard anyway, and it just came up and all, like, that was meant to fight Joe before. He said, do you want to fight him and all? I'll get you back out. And I was like, fuck it, you know what, I'll fight him. So even this day, like, maybe after that fight, I could have got another fight straight after, but after the defeat, I was like, you know what, fuck yes, blah, blah, through the hell for a while. But again, I should be fucking 8 or 9-0 right now, but because I couldn't sell tickets copy, you know what I mean? So that's kind of why now, like, you kind of look for the O'Neill fight, you look for fucking Martin Quinn fights, whatever it may be. So I just want to put that straight out. All that there about license is bullshit.
It's very honest, you know. As I say, I don't do interviews in any way to sort of do clickbait in any way, but it's very honest. Obviously, come out with that, and credit to you, Steve. You know, as I say, you don't have to come out and say these sort of things sometimes, but I know that you obviously did have a Facebook thing last year, obviously about a gambling addiction, and you know, and the good thing is obviously you're coming out of it now, and you know, as I sort of said before we started, we're going to have a wee girl in a few months' time. It obviously gives you that different purpose and a different reason for doing things. And
not even that, man. It's since then, really, I might have help. Everything's basically sorted. Basically, you do like a £25 football bet on Saturday, just with the lads after football. Do you know what I mean? Which is nothing compared to what the figures would have been beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not even a fraction of it. Big thing for me is Cheltenham started yesterday. It's all made now. I'm sitting there doing the movie. Don't give a fuck. Whereas maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, 2 years ago, I'd have been going, fuck, I need it. What's the next horse? There's £100 in that. What's the next? Fuck, there's £200 in that. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe losing fucking hundreds a day on it.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck. Like I don't even obviously talk about it because everyone talks about it, like, and you're in group chats and stuff, and you're gonna be like, oh, I watch the river, blah blah. But do you know what I mean? Like you're not out there throwing fucking 100 quid on a horse anymore, fucking 200 quid on a horse, whatever.
I say it's fair play, and obviously you've come through the other side and sort of, you know, you've seeked help and you're improving. Like I can remember as a teenager and stuff, like, you know, gambling machines, you know, £15 jackpot and you put £100 into it and you walk away with nothing and you feel like crap and you're going, what did I even do that for? You know, so you've sort of lived through something. You've obviously seen that it's not the right way to be. You've seeked help. You've got it sorted, and you're out the other side of it. So everything, all the bad luck you sort of had before with injuries and obviously cancelled fights and things like that. Hopefully the blessing of that comes now that you get regular fights, and obviously you get something positive out of it for overcoming your addiction as well. You know, so they always say sometimes things have a reason. So you had your bad luck, you obviously had your gambling issues. You've obviously come out the other side of it. So now it's, right, so let's get fights behind us. You know, let's start getting a bit of luck on the good side now, you know. You sort of mentioned there, obviously, with the Francie and Martin Quinn fights. Obviously, both fell through. I think you broke your nose at the stage. Was that it? Did you get your nose fixed?
It's all fixed now. It's perfect now, but it's never going to be as good as it was. But you can breathe through it anyway.
Because I know that obviously both Francie and obviously Martin had obviously both, you know, had said was it an injury, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, if your nose is broke sometimes in boxing, there's nothing you can do. You know, we've seen boxers fight before and they can't fight properly because their nose is broke.
If I wasn't injured and whatever it was, it's no disrespect to them, but Martin Quinn and Francie Luzuo, like, they're not people I'd pull out with or pull out of fighting against because I don't think I can beat them. Like, still this day, like, I know I can beat them. Me and Martin Quinn, like, we've spoke a few times on social media, and like, I've even said each other, we're still on the fight each other at some stage. And like, he thinks he can beat me, I know I can beat him. It's just why I'm on it. It's a fight could happen, really. So it's not a fight I want to pull it against because I thought I was getting beat because it wasn't the young man injury. I broke my nose a week before I fought Joe, sparring for McCrory. Didn't think it was his bar. After that spar, I was like, well, I'm not spar, I'll be alright. First round, Joe hit me a jab, my nose went and couldn't breathe for it. That obviously took a few weeks off. Thought my nose was healed. Got it kind of cracked into place a wee bit. Went out straight and sparring away, nothing ever happened. And I can't remember who was sparring. The next, Sean Duffy was sparring. I think he caught me uppercut, and my nose just went again. I was before the
Francie fight,
I think. Whichever one was first, I can't remember which was first.
I think it was Francie supposed to be first, and then I think it was pulled the week before, and then the Martin Quinn fight was
went again, and then I went and seen someone who actually popped it back into place properly this time. And I thought, you know what, this is it. This is perfect. Everything's gonna be alright. Went and sparred again. I was actually going to finish up sparring earlier for the Quinn fight. I mentioned, I need more rounds. I went and sparred again, and everything was done. I was actually doing pads with John Breen. John hit me with the pads, and my nose went. I was going, fuck, what's the chances like? And my nose just went again, but since I came back and all, I was sparring away and doing the ring and all, felt like it was flying all again. My nose is perfect. I've been hit with more times than enough on the nose, and I'm worse in previous cases, and it's perfect now, to be honest with you. So in terms of injuries, there's nothing there in terms of any injuries anymore. It's just all about taking the weight back down and fighting whenever I feel I'm at a healthy and strong weight rather than boiling down very, very quickly. So I like just.
Are they still sort of fights? You know, you were sort of saying the Dennis and Leonard and things like that. Do you want to obviously have? You know, I know there's been words sort of both ways, and you're sort of going, well, let's have a fight.
I know there's a lot of people out there, looking at social media and stuff like this and going, who the fuck is Stephen White? I think he is calling out such and such, blah blah. But like I just told you a story before, it's only way I can fit out of that. Do you know what I mean? Literally, when I fit out, like, I'm not with a big ticket seller, so I can't fucking sell fucking 2-3 grand worth of tickets to fucking go for a journey, man. Do you know what I mean? So I'm the kind of looking at fights now where I'm going, fuck, I could fight such a beat him, and that can kind of boost me back up again, and maybe get people looking at me again, or go, fuck, I want to go watch him, like, fuck, we'll go watch him, we'll get tickets on him. So there's the two fights I kind of always had in mind was, or sorry, the fight I always had in mind was obviously Quinn fight. And then once I heard, like, you're not be fighting like really again, definitely not. It's kind of going, well, on me. But I think it's one of them fights that I haven't watched his interview. I don't know what he said. I don't care what he said either, to be honest with you. But I don't know if it's a fight that'll happen because of who he's training with and whatever it may be. But me and Dennis have spoke a few times, like, and Dennis knows I want the fight. Dennis seems keen that he would like it to happen as well. So it's just I'm not turning around saying, look, I'll fight on because I think I'm at a stage now where I'm ready for fucking big fights, or I'm ready for kid fights. I've had fucking 2 fights, 1-on-1. Do you know what I mean? Like, I fucking mind with a lot of people, but people need to understand. So it's only way I can fight at the match. So
it's not something.
It's not me being a dickhead or me being a fucking asshole saying, oh, you're shit, I'll fight you. It's just me trying to fucking get active.
It's the only way you're going to get fights by sort of calling somebody out, because otherwise it's going to be sort of tougher for you to sell tickets. So you're obviously, I know that there's obviously been words sort of about Owen and sort of online and with Kieran Bradley as well. So it's not like you're just like, this, that, or the other. It's just like, look,
yeah, I remember saying about Kieran and stuff and whatever, and I think I'd said it before, and he said something on Twitter. I was like, I'm not going to be a dick on Twitter and be like, oh, nah, I'm not fighting you. I know the Bradley fight would be a stupid one, to be honest with you. Bradley's sort of being very, very active in it was quality amateur. Personally, obviously, right now, Kieran Bradley beats me, to be honest with you. So that's a stupid one to take. I wouldn't take that anyway at the minute. Maybe on down the lane, obviously, but it's like more 50-50 fights in my eyes, or more fights I see more in my favour to match into the previous. That would be a better option.
Yep, and it's sort of just sometimes you put it out there and it says it's not we're trying to get you to call somebody out. It's more the fact that, look, I'm calling these people out because I can't sell tickets. So and that's probably the brutal thing in the sport sometimes is you could be the most gifted boxer in the world, but if you can't sell tickets, how are you going to get fights? And that's the bad thing about boxing sometimes. So hopefully, obviously, people seeing interviews and stuff like that realise that it's not all plain sailing in the sport. And if you can't sell tickets, you have to go, sort of be the away fighter and call somebody out.
Definitely.
You're obviously still signing with Boxing Ireland. I think obviously within the makeup of Boxing Ireland, Dennis is your manager, so to speak. But obviously
he takes care of the ones
Belfast,
up north, obviously. Mostly. Me and Dennis sort of. To be honest with you, me and Dennis didn't really speak very much. There was nothing there to say that we didn't like each other, blah, blah, blah. We didn't sort of stay in contact as much as maybe you would have with other fighters for whatever reason. But since maybe before Christmas, whenever we sort of started seeing more each other and doing deliveries and all that stuff, we've kind of had that wee bit more of sort of a bond with each other where he's looking out for my best interest now as well. He's like kind of like, I should just deal with Leonard, to be honest with you. Maybe because at the time, Dennis was like sort of Joe's like go-to man.
Yeah.
And I started going with Leonard basically, but it's just now with Dennis there, it's just there's more of a connection there as well, more of me staying in touch with him. And that after work now, he's like, did you train? I'd be like, oh, I trained this morning, or else, fuck no, I didn't train, I was sore, but I'd done such and such instead.
Yeah. It's a good sort of. Oh, I've lost you here. I think it's a good sort of his relationship is sort of building there, and it's sort of showing that he's your sort of best interest at heart as well.
Definitely.
Have you sort of been given any idea of a return of obviously hopefully getting a return to boxing? I know Boxing Ireland have obviously teased potentially the next show after Luxembourg this weekend will be in Belfast. So getting boxing back and getting a fight hopefully.
Obviously. I could have been fighting in Luxembourg, obviously, but I think it's just being there on. No, didn't happen. We've always stayed in touch, talking about fight dates and stuff and whatever, but God knows when it will be. Hopefully, the show in Dublin, I get on that. There's potential opponents there from the same country. Even if you look at Arnold Riley. He's one of Conor Slater's fighters, and they're kind of probably going to be on the show as well. He has a Muay Thai or kickboxing background, which is half of the show.
Yeah.
So whether he wants to box on it or kickbox on it, Tessie that's the opponent. And he said at the Belfast show, again, there's other opponents about to maybe accuse sort of end up getting a fight with.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, whatever happens.
Hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
The obviously, how active would you like to be? You know, I guess it's you sort of nearly have to. I'm not probably saying it right in the right way, but you sort of have to pull off a shock against probably somebody you're not expected to beat, or obviously you're having to call it to get a fight, to beat them, to get another fight. So is it just a case you want to try and stay as active as possible once boxing returns?
Yeah, ideally you kind of you want 4 or 5 fights in a year, but with COVID it's completely different. But like he says, who's going to be fighting next? Who's you just don't know. But if you get beat, you're kind of putting the back of your queue. If you win, you're kind of going for who's next, blah blah whatever. Like I could fight someone in a 6-rounder sort of in the next show and beat them, and then automatically it's that easy. You'd be like, oh look, you're fighting such and such for a BI title. You know what I mean? So just have to see the way things plan out, especially with COVID and stuff. You don't take anything for granted anymore. I'm nowhere near ready for a fair at the minute. Obviously, I have a lot of weight to boil to bring down. I want to do it right. I don't want to kill myself and take 10 kilo off in the space of fucking 4 weeks, or whatever it may be. But just need to get sort of back into a proper training pattern, and then just maybe see like kind of what happens.
Yep, and obviously, I say with a wee one on the way in August as well, it sort of gives you that new bit of motivation and getting out. But I guess obviously the dad bod's sort of in at the minute, so it's sort of going, well, you know what, everybody loves the dad bod, so.
I got no one pregnant, not her. 6 inches new pregnant, I put on the weight. I'm eating more. She's eating maybe half of it. I'm eating.
You're having the cravings for her then, are you?
I think so. It looks like it.
But I guess obviously in a way, you know, the lockdown sort of, you know, there's probably not too many people out there probably haven't put on a pound or two somewhere, you know, so it's getting out of the sort of, hopefully fingers crossed, lockdown, being made and getting back to normal life, you know, we used to know.
A stone or two, you says a pound or two. You says a pound or two, it's a stone or two.
Stone or two. I'm not sure what I'd put on myself. I won't even look at the scales now. I don't think we're best friends. But obviously, you know, boxing sort of still continued, obviously, in the mainstream, sort of Sky, Frank Warren shows and things like that. What have you sort of made of the shows behind closed doors? Have you still sort of the same sort of, you know, would you still sort of go to him as much and sort of go, I can't wait to this show, or with no crowds? Do you lose a sort of atmosphere?
I tell you what, I've been watching at most boxing that's been on, I'll be honest with you. I've enjoyed them as well. Like obviously underdogs are actually getting a few wins now because there's not that crowd there, and it's not kind of like maybe putting them off or whatever it may be. It's more like sparring sessions sort of on TV. Obviously the smaller clubs and stuff. Like I said, I've enjoyed them. I've actually really enjoyed the MTK ones as well. Other shows seem to be, I've had a 50-50 fights like. But I think the fights at the weekend, watching Lewis and Gary at the weekend, was kind of the first time in a while that I went, fuck, I can't wait to be back fighting, like really. Like obviously you always say it in your head, I can't wait to be back fighting, but I think that's what I was watching, going, fuck, like I really can't wait to be back. Like, do you know what I mean?
As I say, they leave you with that sort of, like, it's strange in a way because, you know, sometimes when you have so much expectation on you to win, and obviously people saying, you know, potentially be a world champion, blah, 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 you can get sidetracked with it, but Gary went in and obviously blew his opponent out of the water in no time, and Lewis obviously showed more things that we probably haven't seen from him yet, and they're living up to their billing. You know, sometimes as a boxer, I guess sometimes you're going, how can I stop not listening to people? You know, and obviously when you were fighting Joe and things like that as well, you go to the shop and they go, oh, why don't you fight with Joe, blah, blah, blah. You can't live a normal life with it sometimes, but it can be definitely very hard.
Yeah, like even out there, like you say, a lot of the shops about sort of Falls Road where we're from always had like our fight posters in them, so you were going in and like, they were saying, fuck that, you fighting, blah, blah, whatever, but when is it? And so you're always getting sidetracked by it as well, but like I remember being out of run before, and like one of my mates like drove past and was like, how you feeling? And I was like, oh, what round are you going to face him in? You were like, oh, blah, blah. But it was just because it was a big fight, like sort of around where we were from, like people were constantly like talking about it. Like, I remember like a couple of weeks after, I think I was playing a pre-season game for St James's against Immaculata, which is from Divis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing centre back at the table, and I think I had someone with a big tackle or something, and one of the kids on saying, what are you getting people tackles like that for? You could probably knock you out or something. So it was just one of the ones for wherever I was going at, I was getting it. Like, so, but it's kind of overnight again. The only person still aged me now is my 12-year-old brother, for fuck's sake.
He's still rubbing it any way he can at you.
I'm licking the Winston. He's fucking trying to open him.
I guess that obviously keeps you strong and stuff as well, you know. But look, obviously we've got to the end of obviously the sort of questions we had. Obviously, you know, thanks for obviously coming on and having a chat with us. Obviously, thanks for sort of opening up and sort of, you know, the gambling issues and sort of that you've had.
Yeah.
Obviously, get the pounds off. Obviously, don't be enjoying the good weather too much. And obviously, hopefully, fingers crossed, it isn't too long before we have you back in the ring.
Hopefully not. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Definitely.
Hopefully out before the baby comes anyway, hopefully. Ideally.
Get the 2-1 rather than staying 1-1 on the fence. You know, get the 2-1 at least. You know.
I'd say look at Tabin Farmer, he lost and 4 of his first and
7
10
fights,
you know what I mean? Something like that. So that's why it's not sort of it's not a complete setback. I can change at some stage, but like I say, even 2 fights this year I'll be happy with.
Yep, fantastic. But listen, obviously, thanks very much once again. We'll hopefully catch up again soon.
Yeah, stay on. Speak soon.